They did not listen to the order of Allah, they disobeyed it, and because of their actions, the consequences of their actions led them to be transferred into different entity, shape, look, whatever we are going to discuss now. They were transferred, according to this ayah, to ape-like creature. How accurate is this as scientific way? As you know, brothers and sisters, I don't know if you are interested in this topic. If not, I can switch it. Are we good? As you know, in evolution, if I go to the genetics before evolution, there are DNA similarities between a human and apes, between 98 to 99%. You know that. Similarities does not mean we are copy-paste. I mean, if you tell me which one is closer to a human being, the DNA, the genome of a chicken or a yeast, which one is closer to us when it comes to similarities? Yeast, okay? Not a chicken. We are closer maybe to a banana genome more than to a chicken maybe. Where is the miracle? Why Quran picked ape? Allah, if you want to downgrade someone and insult him and humiliate him, whatever you want to do, you pick ape or you pick worse than animals. Roaches, mice, check. Till now, you know, if you are angry in Arabic language, you do not say you are ape or you are chimpanzee. You pick worse, way lower graded animals, way less evolved animals, let's put it this way. So why the Quran pick the ape? Indirectly is telling us the closest to human being, the genome is what? Apes. How? How did they know? How did the Quran know? Why apes, not other stuff? Animal, just after the ape that is closer in its DNA to human is what? Pigs and mice. The Quran picked pigs and apes, chimpanzees, for instance. Are we from apes? We are not from, we are not from apes. Some teachers at in high school used to say, hey, we are from apes. We are not. We and apes, they say we are from the same ancestor. Whether it is Homo sapiens or Homo sapiens get married to a Neanderthal, that's a different story now. Definitely they did based on scientific findings because they keep it changing. Okay? Evolution becomes worse than a new fatwa. Every time you hear a new fatwa to some school of thought, evolution is keep revising. Oh no, we are not like 200,000 years old. It goes way beyond. We find more proofs dated back to, let's say, 600,000 years ago. So there is a similarity, huge, close similarities between chimpanzees and a human. So why the Quran pick this? How did the Prophet know about this similarity? Now this is the first question. I look at it as a miracle in the Quran to pick that animal to be transferred to. But it would be interesting to open your AI, whether it's a ChatGPT 5 or 4, whether it is Gemini, whether it is DeepSeek, whether it is Grok, whatever, and ask this simple question. I'm not saying you trust it, but it will give you some information. Because as you know, AI is garbage in, garbage out, okay? If you give it good garbage, will get you good result. You give it bad stuff, it's going to get you bad stuff. But anyway, there is a very interesting question behind this ayah, very deep. Is it possible, as the evolution theories suggests, that beings were evolved from a common ancestor to human? Is it possible I can trigger some traits in our DNA and make a human somehow similar to a monkey, to an ape, to a chimpanzee? Is it possible? Look, my PhD in cybersecurity is not in biology. but I researched this a little bit for my limited information. Yes, it is possible as a theory. Yeah, it's cybersecurity, it's not a big deal. Okay? It is possible. There is a chance, even in theory, you might trigger a trait in your DNA and it will show one of the attributes of monkeys. Maybe start seeing it, and it happened in history. You start seeing a person, his body is covered, with hair, or the jaws different size. Something get triggered. So when we come back to the ayah now, after discussing those two major items, when the Quran talk about, hey, they were transferred to apes, does it literally mean regular apes, or they look like apes? Maybe a DNA got triggered. A trait in that DNA got triggered. So the question would be, what might trigger this? Go back to Google or AIs, they will tell you could be radioactive material, could be genetic mutation, could be. But if I go back to the story, I see orders from Allah telling those people, do not eat from that river during certain time. Oh, there is a biological reason then. Most likely, I'm saying. Most likely. So this will lead us to a point sometimes when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ordering us not to do something, it is not just about Jannah and Nar. It has to do with our health benefit. Like when you come to Salah, you want to pray, get rid of the blood on your hand, please. Unless it's a small portion. Be clean. You use the restroom. Clean after yourself. Do not just wipe. Use water, for instance, according to some scholars. You want to come to the Salah, make wudu, do ghusl, fast, wake up, Fajr time. Fajr time, is it a punishment? This is what's good for your health. I'm trying to organize your biological clock. I'm trying to organize your life so we can understand religion is not just about Jannah and Nar. Ibadah is not just to get hasanat. Ibadah also to organize your life. Now, the last question related to that story. Those monkeys that were transferred, a human being were transferred to monkeys, whether because of the luck, because of certain traits, is it the whole entity was transferred? We do not know for a fact. If I am just reading the Quran without looking into the hadith. In the hadith, a big subject, we call it al-musukh, and I don't have time for it now. But as the Quran is itself, they say, so those apes we are seeing now, are they related to those people? Allah, if you take Al-Bukhari, yes, you can find some stuff like this. You take some ahadith from Sunni school of thought and from our sources, they say no, those people only survived for few days and they passed away. They did not get the chance to have offspring. Yani, do not claim, oh, those people are the kids of those transferred werewolves or weremonkeys, whatever you want to call it, okay? People. We don't have any hadith that support this. So you cannot claim that those apes are related. Now, some hadith in Al-Bukhari and others, that you might find some different opinion, but this is not my concern. The last thing, brothers and sisters, I advise you, when you read Quran, do not just read it for how many ayah times how many hasanat per ayah. Because the more I read, I more get hasanat. ألا لا خير في قراءة بلا تدبر. Sometimes one ayah, trust me, I'm an engineer, okay? And I understand what does research mean because I did my PhD and I know how the agony behind it. And I'm a Hausa guy for more than 18 years, okay, now. Research is a big deal. You cannot just read the ayah and move on. Sometimes one word might take you hours and hours to know why the Quran said this, not that. One word. And you can see big difference. And you start reading Quran, and the more you get into it, you will find deeper meaning with the help of the language and all dictionaries like 1,000 years ago, the hadith of Ahl al-Bayt, understanding nowadays science, you will be shocked. Inshallah, later on I can show you some scientific, hidden scientific ayat in the Quran, hidden facts. I'm not talking about people who wants to do propaganda. Some stuff has nothing to do with science. They force the science to meet the ayah. I'm not saying this. We have a clear-cut proofs, clear-cut. It's not the time for it. Now my other question, can I get a couple more minutes from you, or we are fed? Is that possible? The other question is fiqh related. Let me get the question. When it comes to shak of the salah, so I do not know whether it is the third rak'ah or the fourth rak'ah. What should I do? For Sayyid Sistani, if you do not know, it's not famous opinion. Famous opinion means the well-known opinion. According to Sayyid Sistani, if you have a doubt whether it's 3 rak'ah or not, you just stop the salah and repeat it from scratch. Start over. Start all over. Okay? If you do not follow Sayyid Sistani, then you have a schedule, you go check it out. Okay? So let's say between third and fourth, you consider it fourth, and then you do rakat ihtiyat before you play around. Once you are done, right away. And we have ahkam. Sayyid Sistani made it easy, okay? But I have one thing to mention here. There's a big difference between shak and dhann. Shak, that means you come to a point 50% third rak'ah, 50% fourth rak'ah. I do not know. I'm clueless. This here, you do ahkam al-shak. You go check your schedule, you follow Sayyid Sistani, you have a nice shortcut. But there is something we call dhann. Dhann has to do with the probability. I lean toward it is 60% to be third rak'ah, 40% fourth. You go with 60%. This is now dhann. Shak, you have equal probability. Then we have to find solution for you. Dhann, no, I feel more. It is 80%, 70%, it is the third. You go with dhann. Okay, dhann is a level beyond regular doubt. Okay? The last question is about aqa'id, but this will keep it for inshallah next meeting. And the question in general is, so science nowadays, they say everything is because of Big Bang. Okay? What was before Big Bang? And what was, how we visualize the existence of God when we say there was nothing in this universe? Is there something called nothing? If there is something called nothing, then I should not call it something. Isn't it? So is there a point we had nothing? What's that nothing? What are the philosophers, what do they say about? The main reason I'm asking this question, because I had an atheist guy, and he said he does not believe in God because he could not understand the entity of God, the idea of God. What does it mean Allah is beyond time, beyond the space, beyond mass, beyond density, beyond the quantum physics, beyond your equation? How could that be? My answer was, inshallah, I will explain it later on. Ya Habibi, can you tell me what was before Big Bang? Oh, Sheikh, Big Bang was because of singularity. But where did that singularity come from? Where did the first energy come from this universe? Oh, quantum field. Quantum field, okay, quantum field was where? In a universe, in a container? Where did that container come from? Oh no, the quantum field itself is the container itself. Allah, I don't want to enter into this subject. Inshallah, I keep it for next meeting. أسأل الله لكم العفو والعافية. وإلى أرواح موتانا وموتى المؤمنين والمؤمنات، ولا سيما موتى الحاضرين وموتى المؤسسين والشهداء والصديقين، نهدي ثواب مجلسنا ومنطقنا مع سورة المباركة الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.